Riftbound, Gundam, Pokemon, and Magic. Nobody can get their hands on enough of these games, and the product shortages don't seem to have an end anywhere in sight. But what can we do about it as players? I'm Nick with TCG HQ, and I've been working in this industry and running tournaments through all the ups and downs of the last few years and beyond. And I've learned a few things about navigating a bull market when TCGs are as hot as ever and the bubble just can't seem to burst. I'll go over what's going on with product shortages for a variety of hit TCGs this year, when we might expect things to ease up, and what you can do in the meantime going into 2026 to get your hands on the cards you need to play these hard-to-get games. Hint, it's buy singles. The TCG market is exploding, and here's what you can do about it. Let's start off with Riftbound, the hottest game of the year, the single-handedly most industry-warping game to come out in a long time. From the very beginning, this game has been hyped beyond belief, since it was called Project K. Sellouts across the board of demos at Gen Con and everywhere else Riot thought to offer demos led to people rationing spots, and it required Riot to use a punch-out system with attendees' badges. If you had a punch-out, you had received your one promo you were allowed to get. They handed out an Ari promo that is now almost $100, despite how widely available it was at the shows. When Riftbound launched in October, immediately product was selling for over 1.5x its MSRP, and has only continued to climb, with box prices sitting at just under $300 at the time of recording on TCG Player. Singles started out reasonable, but very quickly regular rares like Falling Stars and Thousand-Tailed Watcher ballooned to almost $20 and $40 respectively, prices that they've somewhat cooled off from, but still are high. These are regular rares that could come in any booster pack, but because the very best deck in the game, Kaisa, plays them, they were quickly in short supply. Too short, in my opinion. That's not to mention how much money the Chase Rarity signed overnumbered cards were going for out the gate. While those have calmed down a bit, they still fetch quite the premium now as well. Now, several weeks post-release for the game, epics like Dazzling Aurora and Deadbloom Predator, both cards played in another meta deck, Master Yi, have ballooned to almost $100 each, and while Riot is promising reprint waves and supply problems fixed by the time Set 2 Spirit Forged releases, if you waited to get into the game and are trying to go to a Nexus night, you might be stuck playing with a Jinx starter deck rather than the leader you'd want to go with. So where are we currently? With boxes sitting at just under $300, it's not realistic for most players to crack boxes to get their singles now. The only real way to participate in the game from scratch is likely going to be starting with one of those starter decks, Yasuo, Jinx, or Victor. These decks, for the most part, have not completely sold out on LGS shelves and are the last accessible product for the average player. Let's take Victor for instance. This is a control deck that goes wide with tokens in an effort to keep the opponent's board clear while snowballing board presence. Jinx is another popular option too, as she's a fast aggro deck that prioritizes dumping your hand to quickly win points and is one of the most iconic League of Legends characters. You can start here, and from there I'd recommend linking up with members of the community, whether that's in Discords, Facebook groups, or just hanging out at locals. When cards are harder to come by, there are still plenty of players that were able to secure product and are only interested in getting more people into the game. These folks may have commons, uncommons, and less expensive rares readily available for trade, sale, or maybe even just to borrow. Currently at Cards HQ, we get 30+ weekly players for Riftbound, and there's a lot of this going around right now. We see a lot of trading. Players just want to see the game become more sustainable during this unprecedented period of product shortages. In the event that you find yourself participating in a local community like this, maybe this can help you now as you're getting into it. And in the future, when you find yourself with cards to lend out, you can pay it forward to the new player when you're the experienced player with cards. Riot very recently announced that they'll be quickly reprinting the Nexus Night promo packs too, which will hopefully be helpful in getting playables into your hands every week, even if they're on the lower rarity side from these packs. Riftbound is in a tough spot where everyone from every other gaming community wants to play, but if you're looking to upgrade that starter deck, you're willing to trade, borrow, and negotiate, and you're paying attention to restocks and when singles take a dip, that's the best way to navigate a situation like what Riftbound's in. I'm hoping that Riot and UVS are able to pull off what they're claiming and reprint enough Riftbound to stifle the overwhelming demand, but we'll see. Until then, get your hands on what you can. Next game we're going to take a look at is going to be Gundam. Gundam is in a similar spot to Riftbound, but has the opposite problem. The booster boxes, while being expensive, are still on shelves. The real issue is its starter decks. Its starter decks contain unique cards that are super powerful and played in a variety of decks, meaning that it is impossible to find these products at a reasonable price because the singles in them are so sought after. As great of a product as a Bandai starter is, they make some of the best in the business in my opinion, the reality is the demand for Gundam is making it so that these decks might as well not exist. For STO5, stores were told the only decks they would be receiving were the ones they needed to run the starter deck sealed event that they had on the TCG Plus app, and not a single extra copy would be allocated. That's pretty crazy. We run a lot of Bandai events here at Cards HQ, and when we saw this, naturally our response was one of complete shock. While the availability of STO1 through STO4 was pretty limited, we had kept decks in stock for most of the life cycle of GDO1 with what we had. With Gundam events selling out and meta decks in need of cards, these decks are about as hot of a commodity as you can get, and because of Bandai's limited allocation, this means that STO5 and now STO6 are effectively non-existent on store shelves. Bandai is likely putting in a massive print run for these decks as we speak, but what can you do in the meantime? Take a moment to look online using websites such as Eggman Events and find yourself the cheapest aggro deck you can find, featuring a Gundam character that you like, and buy the singles online for that deck. Given we'll be waiting for GDO3 for a bit and a reprint wave of a lot of these products is delayed at best, your best bet is if you want to play the Gundam card game is to do this approach and buy the singles. If you're looking to learn how to play the Gundam card game, we did a Learn to Play video a few months back that covers everything you'll need to get started. Bandai's older card games are currently in ample supply, including Union Arena, Digimon, Fusion World, and most One Piece products. Based on their track record, it's only a matter of time before we have plenty of Gundam on our shelves, but until then, it's about getting in on the ground level with the cheapest deck, playing and winning promos, and trading into higher tiered cards. And now we're going to take a look at the two other games and tackle them together. That's Pokemon and Magic. These are both big three games that have recently exploded in popularity and speculation. Pokemon, of course, is going crazy right now. Since Surging Sparks last year, no set has been available at MSRP or under anywhere. For Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast does a good job of printing product, but still, it can be hard to find the premium product from many different sets, and collector boxes can be in short supply depending on what you're going for. And what's the solution for wanting to get into Pokemon and Magic right now with how expensive some of these things are getting? And fortunately, it's really easy and a consistent point across this whole video. Skip the boxes! Maybe this is a hot take, but MTG collector boxes are a bit of a sore subject for me. I've never really liked the product line, and while I will admit I've enjoyed opening them a time or two, they represent something that's profoundly harming the Magic brand, in that the only cards people want are the extreme and at times illegible chase variants found at the top of the pull rates. This has never been and will never be what Magic the Gathering is about. Magic is about playing the game, casually or competitively, and if you want to open product, stick with commander decks and regular booster boxes. For Magic in particular, you can build any deck you'd like with the inventory of card shops around you as well. There's a reason Magic is so ubiquitous. Nearly every card shop in the world started because someone really loved Magic and decided to make that hobby their profession. You can and will find everything you need in their bulk bins and their inventory to make a deck that you like. And as I've always said, nothing in a collector booster box is required to successfully play Magic the Gathering. If you want to open them, sure, but you don't need to. And for Pokemon, there's a lot more reasons to buy product, whether it's to open or hold long term. The culture surrounding Pokemon is more central to collecting and investing in the game, but fortunately, a lot of what I just said about MTG also applies here too. Playing the Pokemon TCG is dramatically cheaper than buying the product or collecting the chase cards. Most decks can be built for under $100, and stores like Cards HQ have value bins loaded to the gills with base rarities of good cards that go in every deck, like Buddy Buddy Poffin, Boss's Orders, and Professor's Research. There's a common trend here with new and long-standing games that are finding themselves caught up in the hype. Maybe it's a bubble, maybe it's not. But what it means is that product has an unnecessary barrier in front of it that regular players can avoid by choosing to engage in community and buying singles instead of burning your hard-earned dollar on boxes that have no guarantee of a return. If your thing is cracking boxes and you want to pay the current market price, don't let me stop you. I hope you get what you're looking for. But for those who are looking for another way to engage in the hobby, I hope this video helped. If you're looking for singles, supplies, or those elusive boxes, you can find them on cardshq.com right now. And if you're interested in more content like this, be sure to subscribe to the TCG HQ channel for more. I'm Nick with TCG HQ, and I'll see you next time.